Good day, everyone. You're welcome to the lesson of today. My name is Ms. Adegoke, and today we are considering the subject Basic Science and Technology, and our focus is on science. Our topic is pests and diseases of crops. You can see it on the screen. Pests and diseases of crops. We have three keywords there. We have pests, we have diseases, and then we have crops. First of all, I would like to start with crops. You know what crops are? They are plants. I'm sure you are familiar with them. Plants around us. Most especially that are grown for food. Crops. Plants that we grow for food. Now, we want to look at pests and diseases. Pests and diseases. Pests are insects, or let me say organisms that attack crops. Then we have diseases. These are the effects. These are the negative effects of the actions of different things, be it pests or weather or whatever they have on crops, and it damages crops. Look at this picture that we have here. You can see this insect, this beetle, you see, attacking this leaf. This is what we call pests and diseases of crops. You are welcome to this lesson once again. Take note that at the end of this lesson, you should be able to mention some pests and diseases of crops. Then you should be able to state ways to prevent pests and diseases of crops problems. Okay, so we come to pests and diseases of crops. Now look at this picture. Before we go further, we are looking at pests and diseases of crops. Look at this picture. You can see this picture is showing grapes, but you see that the grapes are looking so bad. This is the effect of pests and diseases. If anybody gets to the market and you see something like this, number one, it irritates you. You're not going to buy. And then what happens? There is loss to the farmer and then to the seller. That is what pests and diseases does to crops. You know, they destroy the crops, they make them unfit for consumption, and then they now bring loss to the farmer or to whoever is selling them. Now, several types of insects damage fruit and vegetable crops. Now, we have various animals such as grasshoppers, weevils, beetles, and small insects like thrips and certain fly larvae cause significant damage. You see, some of them you cannot even see with your physical eyes except to use a magnifying lens. You know, even though we cannot see this insect that does this damage, the effect, what they do, you know, is easily seen. Everybody sees the damage that has been caused, even though we cannot see some of this insects sometimes. Now, pests and diseases problems in plants are often the result of more than one cause. Sometimes it's not just one particular thing that causes these diseases. Look at this picture that we have here. You can see this leaf has been destroyed, you know, with the activities of all these insects. You know, if you get to the market, let's say you follow mommy to the market, and then you want to buy vegetables, and you see something like this. Even you will tell mommy, we cannot buy this, you know. Insects have eaten this. That is what happens. Nobody wants to buy these vegetables once they've been damaged. And then there is loss. And that is why pests and diseases are not the friends of farmers, because they destroy the farm produce, the fruit and vegetable crops that should have brought in money to the farmer. Now look at this. aphids and leafhoppers spread various plant diseases in the process of feeding. You see, these insects, while they try to feed, insects feed by, they suck nectars, and then they move from one plant to the other to suck the sweet juice of flowers. So while they are feeding, sometimes, they do all this damage to the crop plants too. And then sometimes, not only insects, sometimes when we grow crops in nutrient deficient soils, that is, the soil don't have enough nutrients. The best soil for planting is, I hope you still remember, loamy soil. It is black, it is rich in nutrients. When farmers grow crops in soils that are not that do not have all the nutrients, that are nutrient deficient, that is, the nutrient is not sufficient, is not enough. So when they grow crops in nutrient deficient soils, what happens? The crops will not grow well. It even becomes worse when these crops are now even attacked again by insects. So we want to look at some common pests that attack crop plants. As you can see on the screen, we have the locusts. You can see it here. That's what it looks like. We have beetles. You can see that. We have aphids. Then we have weevils. We have a lot of them. These are some common pests that attack crop plants. We have the earwigs. You can see it here. We have the beetles. It has been mentioned earlier. We have some flies. Then we have bugs. We have bugs, upper scales. This insect damage crop plants. Okay, this is the white fly. This is the white fly. They also damage crop plants. And then we have various other insects here. As you can see, they suck plants and then they damage the plant. Okay, we've seen this pests how they affect plants. What can we do to prevent them? Because when they damage crops, number one, we can't eat them. If people mistakenly eat them, it can cause sickness. It may even lead to death, because sometimes when people cook them with the food, or mistakenly, fruits and vegetables, we just eat them raw. We don't need to cook. When people mistakenly, maybe you are trying to cut the salad and then there's an insect in the salad, and then you cut it, you are not very aware that it's there, and then people feed on there. It can cause so much damage. Apart from causing damage after consuming them, to farmers, it causes so much loss. So how do we prevent them so that they don't destroy our crops? Preventing pests and disease of crops involves maintaining proper crop health. We are going to look at those proper crop health, what we should do to maintain proper crop health. Let's look at number one, using certified seed. Using certified seed. Now, to grow your crops, you need seeds. Now, the seeds farmers should use, or all of us who plant crops, the seed we should use should be certified. That is, seeds that have been approved by agricultural agencies, seeds that they have tested or that they brought up, that they seeds that have been cultivated by these experts, agricultural experts. Those are the kind of seeds. When you plant those seeds, the plants will grow well, the crops will grow well. Not just any seed. Oh, I found this orange seed on the ground and I want to plant it. You don't know where that seed is coming from. You don't know the kind of fruit, of the kind of orange that that seed came out from. So you don't know. But when you get certified seed, what will happen? The certified seed have been checked and they have been approved. So by the time you grow them, it will produce good crops. Okay, then you must choose disease-resistant crop varieties. If you keep planting the same crop over and over, the insects know that, oh, if we get to this farm, we are going to meet this crop there. So it is advised that farmers, and especially people that want to grow crops, they choose crop varieties that don't appease to all these insects. Then rotate crops frequently. Like this year, if you plant cassava on the piece of farm, the next year you may not plant cassava again. You may not even wait for a whole year. Sometimes the crops you plant, they take 3 months to grow, and then for you to harvest them, sometimes it takes 6 months. So after the duration, what you need to do, plant another type of crop. That's what we call rotate crop or crop rotation. You plant one, then after you've harvested that one, you plant another one. Okay, so that's what it means. In the same area, you keep changing the plants. Now, another thing to do to prevent all these pests, maintain proper soil nutrients. You see, look at the word there, proper soil nutrients. Proper. Look at this. Too much fertilizer can be as harmful as too little. If you put too much fertilizer in your crops, it can destroy the crops. And if you put too little, it may not be enough for the crops. So you must apply the correct measurement. That's what is called proper soil nutrient. You put fertilizers, you put water, of course, the farmland is exposed to sunlight. Just make sure that the soil nutrients are in the right, are available. They should be the way it ought to be. Then another one is to irrigate crops properly. If you don't want pests and diseases on crops, and we don't want them, so we have to irrigate crops properly. Irrigate means you water them. You make sure that there is a way that they are all watered. You irrigate crops properly. Then you keep fields free of weeds. Weeds are unwanted plants. If you grow maize, you will see that there are some grasses, beneath the maize stalk. So what do? All those weeds, you uproot them. You make sure that weeds, because if you don't uproot the weeds, the nutrients that should be nourishing the plant, such as the maize stalk, the nutrients will also be shared by the weed, because weeds too are grasses, they are plants. So they will be sharing the nutrients in the soil. That is why you must take away the weeds, so that the soil and the nutrients in the soil can be used by only the crops that we need. So you must keep fields free of weeds. Look at this picture that we have here. You see, only the plants can be seen. There shouldn't be weeds, competing with the crops. Then you must practice sanitation. Well, you know what sanitation means, cleaning the environment. You must remove crop debris at the end of season. And debris refers to all the waste, Like now, look at this maize stalks. You see the maize, you see the maize on the stalk. So after you've harvested all the maize, you've taken the maize that you need. All the stalk, you have to cut them. Sometimes we still use them as manure, but after a while, you make sure that the ground is cleared of any waste, anything that may disfigure the farmland. So you must practice sanitation. Make sure that the farmland is clean. Then do not overuse pesticides, which can kill beneficial insects. This is one way to also prevent pests and diseases. If you use too much pesticides are to kill pests. So you don't overuse it. You must use it, but you don't overuse it, because there are some insects that are also beneficial. Do you know that the earthworm is a beneficial insect to crops? Because as they keep burrowing there is going into the ground and coming out, it makes air to get into the soil. So earthworms are very good for plants. So that's why we must not overuse pesticides, because if the pesticides become too much, it may kill those earthworms that are good. So we've seen the pests and diseases of crops, and we've seen how to prevent them. You have been told that pests and diseases of crops are insects and other organisms that can damage fruit and vegetable crops. So you have to answer these questions. Number one, what do you understand by pests and diseases of crops? Then two, list ways to prevent pests and diseases problems of crops. So make sure you do that. You can send to my email. It is there on the front slide. That's adedayo.adegoke@greenlandhall.org. Thank you. Do enjoy the rest of your day.